All right. I am not sure you guys can hear me again, but let me know if you can. In fact, I may all right. You guys can hear me? Oh, you can hear me. Nice. Damn. Finally. Can you see me? All right. Good. Good. Woo. Hey man, thanks for your patience out there. That was a pain in the neck on something that I was just testing out to see if anyway, it's a long story. I'll figure it out later. I just didn't have enough time to actually do it. But anyway, let's get right into it. So one thing we're doing right now is we are doing a calisthenics and cardio cycle right now. And it's typically our spring summer cycle. We're now into full summer calisthenics and cardio. However, this 1 week of the month, we are adding a strength week. So our typical would be basically a typical tactical strength or winter lift cycle week that we would just pop into our summer cycle. We're just testing it out. It's basically a form of block periodization where typically during the spring and summer, if we would need a break, we would just do a deload week with, reduction of miles, maybe a couple more mobility days, and just kind of deload and come back and hit it when, I saw it, especially in a 12-week cycle. Sometimes that's pretty hard to keep moving up forward. You hit this little plateau and you need to pull down a little bit. So what we decided to do is during that 3-week block, hit it hard and then take a week and work on other elements of fitness that are also important in a tactical fitness world. So if you were an athlete and you maybe didn't need to worry about long distance running because you were a football player, you didn't need to worry about lifting weights in the middle of a run cycle because you're an endurance athlete, especially in season type stuff. But it's just one of those things that, for the tactical athlete, there's so much more you need to develop. And sometimes that takes time. I mean, your athletic history is going to take you to a point, but everybody's athletic history typically has an issue with something equal and opposite. What I mean by that, you might be really, really strong and fast and agile, but your muscle stamina and cardiovascular endurance on longer events will be weaker. And you could flip that upside down for the opposite athlete. So what I found is this deload focus is working really well. Guys like it. I think most of my guys were kind of ramping up on the mileage, and this week we reduced the mileage by like close to 40%. Some guys decided to run a little bit more anyway, just because they didn't need to lift. They're kind of the strength athlete that just kind of went on with it. But it's just something I'm working on. So that's kind of how I create new programs is I test it out. If I'm going to hear about a style of training, and I didn't create block periodization, you could Google block periodization and you might find some physiologist or expert, strength and conditioning coach on the professional Olympic level, had some ideas on block periodization, but periodization is nothing new. It might be new to you, but it is nothing new. It's been going on for decades. But if you guys have questions, I am happy to answer some of them. We don't have a lot of people on here right now, but if you guys have any, let me know. Otherwise, I will go into swim critique mode, and we will test out some videos on swimming. What do you think of that? So if you have questions, ask them. Otherwise, I am going to share my screen and we'll critique some CSS. You guys up for that? All right, let me know. Okay, here we go. Critiquing CSS. All right, you guys should be able to see this. All right, so what I'm going to do here is click play, and let's watch this guy. Oh, nice. Good streamline off the wall. Good double arm pull. Not bad. Coming up. Top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Could hold the glide a little longer. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi pull. Maybe a second more. Half second. That was a little short. Good kick, good glide. I mean, that's probably, what, 5 or 6 strokes to get across the pool. Got to work on your turnaround, though. That's pretty slow. Great kickoff, though. Good streamline, decent arm pull. I mean, you're coming up hard. That's good. I think you just need to clean up just a little bit with holding that glide. Good recovery. Oh, man, that's good. I mean, you're looking at 52nd 50, so can't beat that. If that's a meter pool, that's even faster. So, yeah, man, not bad at all. Let's see what people are saying. Did you guys see that video, by the way, when I was sharing it? Is there a maximum mileage I should stop at for a single long run? You know, as with any running, it is important to progress into long runs. If you ask a football player, 1.5 miles is a long run. If you ask an endurance athlete, a 10-mile run is a warm-up. So there's no easy answer for that one. You know, if you're preparing for a spec ops job, I would say, you know, you don't need to run a lot more than 6 miles. You need to ruck more than that, but you don't need to run more than that. And if you're going to run 5 or 6 miles, run it fast. You know, don't run a 9 or 10 minute mile pace. So that's just going to get you good at running slow. So try to build up your 6 to 7 minute mile pace for as many sets and miles as you can. That may take some time. And if you can keep it at a 7 minute mile pace for 5 miles, that's really good. I mean, that's good above average time. And it's nothing earth shattering, you know, but, you know, the minimum standard to get into Ranger school is 40-minute 5 mile. I just had you run a 35 minute. So even if you have a bad day, you're good. You're good to go with the, you know, that pace. So 7 minute mile pace for as many miles as you can. That's what I would say. When you start slacking off a 7, then you've probably gone too far for your ability. You slow it down to an 8, that's fine, but you don't want to do too many of those. Once again, you just get good at running slow, and you need to be good at running fast. And a 6 and 7 minute mile pace to an endurance athlete is not fast. To a strength athlete, that's blazing. Good question, though. It's just no simple answer to that. What did I see? ITB syndrome recommendation, pain is 2 out of 10. You know what? I've actually been running through ITB issues. Sometimes I'll get a flare up, especially right now as we're ramping up our mileage and our running cycle. And I foam roll before, I foam roll after, and I'm able to keep running. You know, those foam rollers are really helpful. But also stretching, you know, if you feel like you need to, you know, massage, therapy. That's really good. But I tell you that foam roller is like the poor man's masseuse. So get on that thing and loosen it up, loosen all the way from the hips though. You don't just do it in the middle of the leg. Go from the hips all the way down to the knee. Maybe get a massage tool that vibrates, work out that knee, because that's where it gets a little tighter. But yeah, there's so many different things. I mean, you Google, YouTube search IT band syndrome. There's physical therapists talking about it all the time, much better than I am at talking about it. But I can tell you this. I have run through IT band flare-ups, and I have had IT band flare-ups stop me from running. So the difference was I figured out a way to warm up with some easy, short jogs and stretches, a little bit of foam rolling to warm it up, and then actually ran. It went away. And then at the end of that run, did some IT band or leg stretching, hip stretching, and some more foam rolling. And it was really helpful. So I would just try not to let it get too bad for you. Once it gets bad, then it's going to suck. So, and you'll probably have to go non-impact for a while. Got my scores to a 910, 60, 70, 11, 926. Not bad on the cardio. Could be better on the reps. Hoping to get a contract in the next draft. My mentor mentioned something about a QFR if the draft does not work. 2 questions for you. How does QFR process work? I'm not really sure. I don't think those scores are good enough personally for the draft, especially right now. It's pretty competitive. I try to get my guys all in the 8 minutes for swim, 80 plus on push, 80 plus on sit-ups, 20 pull-ups, and sub-9 run. So that is what I recommend doing. It's not going to take you that long to get down there, as far as times, and you do the right workouts, you'll be able to hit 80 to 100 reps on push-ups and sit-ups and go from 11 to 20 in a month or two. So just get on it. I'll put some links into the description of this YouTube video, and I see you're posted from Facebook, so I'll send some links over there as well on this question. But there's some great articles that you could do. I got 3 workouts I would recommend you to do right now: pyramid, superset, max rep set, and then the 50-50 swim and goal pace running. That's going to get you into the better zone. But I'm not sure how the QFR part works. Stu, been training for about 2 years without a program, just mixing my own workouts. Which article do you think I should start with? I don't know. I guess multiple questions. I would send me an email and give me an idea of what your goals are. I mean, training to just train is fine. I mean, I used to do that before I had really set goals. And then I think about it, I always had some kind of goals, whether it was sports or military training. So, but yeah, I get it. But, send me a little email and just give me a better understanding of what you're training for. Because I got over 1,000 articles I could send you. It just depends on what you're doing. I would personally start off with probably getting to and through the basics, getting to and through buds. That's what it's called. If you Google that, the basics, getting to and through buds, Stu Smith, that's a good place to start. Right. And there's some program recommendations in there as well. Let's see. Any more questions over there? All right, let me find another CSS video for you. Had a couple I wanted to bring up. I think I might have done a few of these though, so I don't want to redo some old ones. All right, so let me try this. All right, so you guys, if I don't have any questions, I'm going to go share my screen again, and we will do another video. All right, so new video. Guy kicking off the wall here. Let's see how this looks. Okay, not bad for the start. Kick off, good double arm pull. Good recovery. Boom. All right, so top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Got a little extra kick in there. I'm not sure what that is, but doesn't look like it's going to be overexerting. Not bad. Let's see how this turnaround looks. Could be a little better. Need to search open turn and grab that wall with one hand and turn around the opposite way of whatever it is. So it's your left hand you grab, you need to turn to the right. If it's your right hand you grab, you need to turn to the left. That way you're only doing about a 180-degree turn versus a 270-degree turn or whatever some of you guys are doing. Not bad, though. I don't have a whole lot to fix on that one. Let's see this last tail end here. Let's go to the first half again. Top, bottom, kick and glide. No, that's good. Let's see. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Got a good kick. It's letting you glide. Usually guys by 3 Mississippis are starting to lose all of their momentum. So that was actually not too bad. All right, you guys over there, you got any more questions for me? I'm probably going to cut this one short just because I spent the first half hour fiddling with some new software that was doing nothing but ticking me off. But I'll do one more video. How's that? If you guys think of some questions while I do this video, that's great. Let me pull it up real quick. Okay, this looks like a pretty good video, actually. All right, share screen. All right, let's see what this guy looks like. I may have done this one before, but I don't know. Big kick off the wall, double arm pull, boom. Nice. That's really good. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to fix on this. Good glide. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi pull. Yeah, this is going to be really good. Mississippi, 2 Mississippi pull. Good kick. Let's see how the turnaround looks. He grabs and he goes. There's a good turnaround. That's a good open turn. That's a one-hand open turn. So that's what you have to do. If you go to YouTube and you search open turns, you'll probably see a competitive swimmer do 2 hands. You don't have to do that because this isn't competitive swimming. This is really good. Yeah, I have very little to fix on this, if any. I mean, you can't argue with the results. That's a 49-second 50 there, which is great. Probably even a meter pull too. So you're going to be really fast. All right, looks like we got some new questions that just popped up here. How busy is the draft for contracts you were saying? I don't know about busy. I mean, they're looking for good candidates, and only the best are getting contracts. So when I say you need to have better scores, those are typically not the scores right now that are considered competitive to go. However, if they need new people, because they've been crushing bud students through winter hell weeks and the numbers are low right now, maybe they'll pick up a few more on the back end of the year. I don't know. But it's just competitive right now to get into there because a lot of people want to go and they don't need as many people as they needed before. So therein lies the problem. It's just more competitive and only the best will go. But people are still getting contracts. Happens every week around here. Stu, when you were transitioning from powerlifting football player to tactical athlete, did you avoid lifting altogether? I did for 2 years. Now, I was also in college, so I had time to do that. And I actually did not lift weights for 2 years. I might have gone into the weight room a few times a year just to get a little pump, but it was not a serious cycle. I basically had to turn myself into a calisthenics cardio. And what I did is I trained like I was doing triathlons. So 2/3 of my cardio was non-impact cardio, swimming and biking. And then 1/3 of it was running as I progressed my running. And I eventually turned into an pseudo endurance athlete. I was also playing rugby at the same time. So there was that as well. But yeah, I didn't lift for, I shouldn't say 2 years, probably 18 months. And then by the time I was a senior, might have lifted a few more times, nothing crazy, no real cycles. I was just focusing on getting to and through buds and working on running and swimming and high rep calisthenics. But I never lost strength. I cut my teeth in fitness by lifting weights. So I had this foundation of strength that, it was very hard to lose. And most strength athletes will do that. Now, I wasn't anywhere near my 1 RMs from back in powerlifting days, but I was still stronger than most people that were going through the pipeline, in certain lifts. So that's what I did. I actually wrote an article on that whole transition because it took some time. So, hey, Stu, leaving for boot camp in a month, contracted to EOD. You know what? Dive prep is tough. I wrote an article on dive prep the other day. They don't call it dive prep anymore. My mind escapes what they're calling it now. Maybe it's selection. But that's a tough one. So get ready to do a lot of treading, a lot of underwater drills. Yeah, you need to understand that treading water sucks, and you need to get good at treading, whether that's with a weight belt and scuba fins, or it's holding a brick with no hands, and do an egg beater or scissor kicks or whatever you can do to stay up. But I would say the toughest mentally for you will probably be treading and diving skills. So get in good shape for that. You'll still need to run and PT and do grinder type PT stuff, but that's going to be your hardest evolutions. Any neck strengthening exercises you would recommend? I get neck sprains often. You know what? You got to be careful. I don't know a whole lot about, neck sprains, what you mean by that. But, anytime you're laying down and you're doing sit-ups or flutter kicks or whatever, keep your head off the ground and lift it up and down like this, right? And then if you want, you can go side to side, right? And then when you roll over on your belly in between push-up sets, or maybe while you're doing some lower back exercises, some swimmers, or maybe reverse push-ups or something, arm haulers, work your neck up and down like this, facing the ground, and then side to side, right? Do sets of 40 or 50 of those, and let me tell you, your neck will get stronger. Now, don't go crazy and try to put your ear to your shoulder or anything like that. We're not trying to stretch it or overstretch it or anything like that. You're just wanting to basically build your neck muscles by having it lift your melon up and down, left and right, on the front and the back. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And it works. So, but there are some devices out there you could get too, if you wanted to do that. Haven't started swimming yet. My swimming is not great. And I have about 2.5 years to work on swimming. That's good. As with anything, swimming should be progressed. I would suggest, instead of wasting your time, swimming and not really knowing how to swim is maybe get some instruction on swimming. Have somebody teach you, how to do freestyle, and then have that, learn how to do breaststroke. And then once you've kind of learned the body position, you're getting a little bit better swimming shape, you can transition into the CSS. Otherwise, you're going to go in there with some crap habits and never really learn proper form of pulling and kicking and body position and streamlining. All those things are really important. So if you don't know a lot about swimming, I would suggest taking swimming lessons primarily. You got time to do it, do it. And then watch some CSS videos, because most swim coaches don't know what the CSS is. Just not one of those universal strokes. What are your thoughts on age waivers as future enlisted SEAL? Are older candidates likely to be rejected? Well, you got until 29 to do it. You have to join boot camp before you turn 29. So you can be 28 and 9/10 or more. And as long as you turn 29 in boot camp, you do not need an age waiver. If you're over that, age waivers are very hard to get. Are they impossible to get? I don't want to say they are, but they are pretty darn hard. And you will be told no several times before you are told yes, that somebody is willing to work with you and in the recruiter process and get your waiver up the chain of command, because it's got to go up high. And you better have something that you're bringing to the table that is unique and special, whether that's PST scores or job experience or languages or whatever. You have to be worthy of the waiver. They're just hard to get. I can't tell you that they're impossible, because they aren't. I've seen guys get them, but in a time right now when it is so competitive to get in and they just don't need as many people, dipping into the older bracket may not be one of the things they are looking to do to get candidates at this point. But everything's on a case-by-case basis. So I'll leave it there. Came across your 14-day sit-up overload. We do sit-ups on a cadence. Yeah, that's tough if you got a cadence one. I don't really have one for cadences. Cadence push-ups are tough too. One sit-up every 3 seconds. But you know what? That's not a horrible pace. My recommendation is come up really fast if you can, or do you have to come down really slow as well? Can you just come up real fast and let yourself go down real fast, and you wait for the 3 seconds to say up again? Because one every 3 seconds is, it's not a whole lot of sit-ups in 2 minutes. I mean, my math may be wrong, but what's that? 40 reps in 2 minutes? Because if you were doing one every second, that'd be 120. If you were doing one every 2 seconds, that'd be 60. So it's less than 60 in a 2-minute test. So interesting, though. I haven't heard about that one. You just basically have to get in shape to handle that. And I'm not sure the parameters that you have to get tested, but if you can exert on the up and come down fast on the descent, go for it. So there's no time limit to the test, I assume, because 100 reps will take a significant amount of time to accumulate at one sit up every 3 seconds, correct? All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's see. Would you recommend training CSS for someone pursuing a career in Air Force Special Warfare where they don't use the CSS that much? They use the CSS. You can still use it. But you're going to you're going to learn a different style of finning. You're going to do a lead arm, trail arm CSS. Well, not even see a lead arm, trail arm swim, where you're just basically on your side and you're doing flutter kicks the whole time. So there's no arm pulls to it whatsoever. So we do something similar. We call turtle backing, where you just lay on your back and constantly flutter kick. You guys do it just laying on your side and do lead arm, trail arm. Both are fine. Both require a lot of leg work, a lot of ankle mobility and hip flexor work for the fins. But there's nothing wrong with the CSS. I personally, I'd probably go freestyle during the Air Force Special Warfare 500 meter test, and then lead arm, trail arm, instead of CSS. You may be able to use the CSS later outside of training. Don't necessarily have to do the lead arm, trail arm all the time. I think this is just a training recommendation or parameter that they're making you follow. But it's a good stroke. I think CSS is a great stroke. But if it's not part of your training specifically, I would not worry about it much at all and just focus on what you're good at. If you're good at freestyle, go with freestyle. But you're going to have to put on fins and do that lead arm, trail arm, so get good at finning too. Good question, though. Hey, Stu, I live in Canada, and pools have been closed for about 1.5 years. Man, that sucks. We had them closed for a while, but not that long. Do you have any tips for someone trying to swim without access to a large pool? Most backyard pools, small lakes. Yeah, you know what? I did the same thing. I had here's what I recommend. Get yourself a swim bungee. Go to Amazon, search swim bungee, and it's all it is a little belt, Velcro belt that goes around your waist, and a strap with a rubber band that you just wrap around whatever, a tree, filter system, a slide, whatever you can wrap it around. And then you're basically just going to stay in one spot and go swimming. I would swim in my neighbor's pool during the summer last year and, swim 30, 45 minutes of just arm pull, kick, and freestyle, side stroke, whatever you wanted, and never touch a wall the entire time. That was good. That was really good. Now, if you have a small lake and you don't feel like swimming across the lake, and unless it's a pretty lake, what a lot of guys did is they used the swim bungee and tied it to the end of a dock and just swam right next to the dock. So they never really worried about getting too deep and cramping or whatever, safety issues that can come with open water swimming. So the swim bungee will save you, is what I'm saying. Get one of those. I think they're only like $15 too. And I used it hundreds of times last year until our pools opened up. Okay, what are the minimum PST standards you would recommend to get into buds? Okay, so you're not asking what the minimum standards are, which is never a good thing to ask because you can't get by with the minimum standards. So I'm taking that what my minimum standards would be. My minimum standards are this: 820 swim. And the reason why I say 820 is 500 yards in 500 seconds is an 820. It's just perfect pace. 80 to 100 push-ups, 80 to 100 sit-ups, 20 pull-ups, and 9-minute run. That's what I recommend. Those are my minimum standards. And if you notice, my minimums are the same as what I would recommend anybody to get before they go to buds. Now, can you get better than that? Sure. I've had guys break 8. I've had guys break 9, even go 8 flat on the run before they left. But those would be my minimum PST scores. And once you get those, then you need to focus on other elements of fitness like strength, and just see where you are on your lifts, because you need to be durable enough to handle logs and boats and rucking and other load-bearing activities that you will be subject to when you are going through any selection, not just buds. So there you go. It's not just PST scores. I actually have a great article that's an assessment tool. And what I will do is I'll put links for some of the articles I discussed in this description below. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go. I've had a crap morning dealing with software, and I am appreciative of your patience. In fact, you guys save 20% on anything at Stu Smith Fitness. Compete 2-0. I appreciate your questions, your patience, and your assistance whenever I was having issues with audio previously. So until then, you guys have a good one. I'll see you next week on 2 for Tuesday around 9 o'clock.